So we have a bit of what the ranks say that this should be one-sided. First, let's get our logo comparison here. We got Athena, pretty solid logo. Does it pass the AI test at Fearless? Can we get a check on that?
Mm,
There's no way
Is
that's
this
AI though.
working? That
There's
is not AI. I think Athena probably a computer. Because like I don't know. That's just the vibe I get. There's so many like weird intricate buckles and stuff, and like the fan of the helmet sort of has like a border on it, which is not really how that works normally, I think. We're still muted, right? Oh, Mike's all right.
But I think this has the potential to be a banger because there's a couple people on Athena who are the lower ranked team, but I think that Athena's got some hidden gems in Gooser. I saw quite the hog performance from Gooser the other week.
Who'd they play last week?
I don't remember, and I'm not looking it up.
Cool.
W casting. I'm talking about Athena though.
I see. Oh my God.
Streets are
Rob
saying this
Beaver has
could be a
two players that are
roll.
on the very bottom of the leaderboard for the role.
That's tough. That's tough. I think they did say so, yeah, right here it says bottom of the tier list is inaccurate. So hard to rank players. I don't know. Will be better in future weeks. Bro,
Yeah,
imagine if
shout out to
it's
the
like
Beat
after
Drop
they.
Banter podcast for letting me outsource all of my critical thinking to this numbered list. It's really great, and I will ignore all of their warnings.
I love it because I'm the MVP right now.
It's true.
Although, who was our? Oh my goodness, where is Dracula on the list? I can't find them.
Maybe they didn't play. They're a bench player.
Bro, they were the starting tank and flex DPS, second flex DPS. Interesting.
Maybe they
It is
just didn't pick
hilarious that Hot
Watson.
Dog is the second flex support, or is
That
second
is
in flex
so
support rankings.
fucking funny,
That's the
man.
funniest shit I've ever seen.
Dude,
That
if
is
I
that,
was the number three flex support right now, I would be fuming.
dude. If I was Enfer, I'd be. Oh, this can't be good.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like Samoa's just it's a pretty good map. It's a little close, but you can play, you know, a lot of different comps on it. Except on Volcano. That one's really constricted, but the other two sub points, um, you can get away with a lot. Dive, brawl, poke, even though that's like a not real comp style nowadays. But poke is dead. I hate to inform you, but poke is dead and has been dead for a couple of years now. I mean, there's like obviously poke heroes are still good, right? Like hit scans are around, but the whole pure poke gameplay and comps not really a thing. Now it's more so just like, trying to hit some bolts or hit a railgun and then follow up on it with a tracer or a Genji or something. I'm kind of stalling for time a little bit. Normally Batman would chime in because that guy fucking hates poke comps. That guy probably has 15 coach OC videos he can drop an in-text citation for about why your comp
Right.
is trash and you should be put in the ground if you like Freya.
I mean, if Lucio exists, you shouldn't be playing poke.
True that.
Yeah. I mean, Juno's just like amp is better than ring, and constant speed is also really helpful for assisting on angles with the flex DPS. Uh, Another thing Lucio does better is he's better at peeling for his other support. Juno's probably the worst support in the game at peeling.
Mhm.
And Kiriko's existence makes Juno hard to justify,
Yeah.
especially after they nerfed Ray so many times. Like, Rush is arguably the better ult now.
In the chat here, you mighty owl, are we having a one-sided conversation with a wall?
Yeah. Mm.
Oh my god. That's sick. Chat, go drop your hot takes on whether or not you think poke is a real archetype or not.
It's a social construct.
So, a little bit of background on these teams. According to the official, very official, officially partnered with LFGS Beat Drop Banter power ranking tier list. This is going to be a big ask for Athena. Prune Juice Predator is currently sitting number 4 of 18. Athena number 12. Um, the Predators just coming off of a game where I have no idea. Uh, it doesn't say here. I'm nothing without my spreadsheet, bro.
I got DM'd by the owner of a giant org I play for. I was like, oh no, what did I do? Turns out they found out about Odyssey and were just they wanted and then I read the first half of that. I was even more like, oh no. Uh,
Do they think you're gonna
and
poach their players?
no, they wanted to thank me for um they like appreciate they said it was very nice that they had inspired our org.
Ah, did
Funny
they?
enough, one of the co-owners of Iliad is now, I think they're playing on Hades.
Huh.
Welcome to Samoa.
Wait, I'll be back real quick. Wait, never mind. No, I won't. They're in a scrum. I'm not interrupting them.
All right. And just for a little bit of background, last week Prune Juice Preds actually took a 3-1
Don't like that
loss against
abbreviation.
the Pew Plunderers. Too many P's in these titles. Get short names, guys.
I'm not a fan of the word predator in Her team title. What did the
It's
prune juice do to you? What?
a little, yeah, I don't know what they mean by that, but 3-1 loss against the Pew Pew Plunderers. They ended up taking us the distance and losing. Does sort of bring into question sort of, by transitive property, they're sort of 2 tiers below us at Auto Cecilla, so maybe the gap's not as big as we thought, because I don't think the Pew Pew Plunderers match was too competitive. It was 3-1. So there may be an opportunity for Athena to sort of bump their way up the rankings a little bit.
Wow.
No.
Wow, I blinked and I'm just not a fan of the
Bastion Sim Reinhardt comp, actually.
I'm disgusted, frankly.
Early on. Element does
And once again, the color swaps strike again. I had no idea who was winning that fight for a second.
Yeah, okay. No. The Rhine Bastion comes out on top. And now, a few switches now onto the May, actually. Junker Queen, May Reaper, onto the Orisa, actually. So we'll be trying to counter comp the Rhine Bastion, sort of play front to back a little bit, bully the Rhine on the front line, but the TP might make this a little hard, TPing around, get the Bastion. As long as I can keep the space around and keep putting the Bastion form timings and the pressure on. Okay, should look pretty good. Alright, wall out onto the choke. We'll actually be splitting the Kiri now. Bastion form used, a lot of pressure onto the front line. And it's actually going to be Element going down early on in the fight. So, 4 versus 5. We'll be having to backstep onto the point right now with that player disadvantage. Wall comes out again, and 2 walls, 2 kills. The Bastion goes down. Prune spreads.
I'm interested to see how the Zenyatta factors in here. There's no Annas, so the Reinhardt player is the #1 enemy, not on the field. However, a Teddygram traded at the very end, right as I started. But, the Zenyatta makes it difficult for the Rhine to play the game. Shields do not break LOS, so the Discord's going to stay on the Rhine until he fully breaks LOS for 2 seconds. That's going to be a lot of pressure, but all that pressure really just depends on, I'll save that thought. Kitsune comes out from Cowbird, responded to with Trank. Kind of just a slow ult fight here.
Yeah, defensive ult on the side of Prune Predators, actually. And now, Mail comes out on the choke, no connection. Reinhardt Shower manages to Shower 2, both go down. And so, that's going to be a good ultimate conversion by the Prune Predators. 2 for 2 trade? And they get the flip midway through, so 73%.
Yeah, I mean, this has been a really good performance so far from the Prune Predators, but Juno ult online, B2 respawn and Sim wall, but the ult economy has swung in the favor of Athena here, and I think we're going to see that play out as they get sort of the last fight going here. Sim TP comes out as they set up Sim wall, ready to go, and they commit Sim wall and B.
And the B.
And the repull.
Finally. And actually, the wall just cutting off that Bastion, really giving it a lot of ability to go and fight. 3 kills for it now. Will be investing the Orisa ult. Overtime does manage to pick 1, but it's going to be a big ask to try and flip this point now. So that's going to be the dregs of the theater wiped away, and yeah, Volcano going the way of the Predators.
Yeah, bit of a one-sided first point. I think it's doable though. I think Athena really just didn't have a great comp to deal with the Reinhardt. You have to. We weren't able to close distance. We don't have a Lucio, and we don't have some of that range damage to really burst down a Rhine shield to punish the rotations. I think we need to see some sort of, either a Sim, maybe a Bastion even, something that can burn down that Rhine shield more effectively, and let the Discord do some work and melt that Rhine down. As we see Magoo actually swap over to Junker Queen, but they keep the same comp other than that one swap. And Athena will be continuing with their exact same comp. So maybe they've identified the problem and will be able to adjust accordingly going into this next round.
will actually be going back to the Reinhardt. So same comp as last time as on Volcano. There's an early Mei wall, early form time. It'll just be Athena backing off, waiting for that Bastion form to expire.
TP comes out, keeping behind.
TP aggressive on behind. Good spear onto the Symmetra, but she does manage to get out 1 HP, but the Rein ends up being too split from the rest of their team. Good wall on him, and now 4 versus 3 on point, or 3 versus 5 now. That's going to be a good push by Athena onto maybe a bit of a hasty teleport.
Yeah, and what I'm seeing is that first map is a little, admittedly, you definitely should, but it's still a little bit difficult to take angles on, you know, that first point Volcano is actually one of the few maps in the game where the actual objective is on the right flank angle. It's not actually on mid. So now maybe we see once a little bit more angles becomes easier for Athena to take, that they'll actually be able to take advantage of this Reinhardt comp. Or excuse me, of their Orisa comp.
Yeah,
Orisa
they do actually
comp.
switching over to the Orisa mirror element onto the Echo too. Not getting too much value out of the Symmetra with these big teleports. And now Tyler, Bastion gets frozen up in the mail, goes down. Actually manages to force the Transcendence in the meantime, but that's going to be a quick reset by the rest of the Prune Striders.
And a late stagger on the Element and Failure Man. I'm going to be honest, what else are you really saving Zenalt for there? Maybe you want to use your Zenalt to counter beat, because you definitely want to use your Ray in response to Kitsune, but what are you really going to get out of Zenalt into their comp? It seems like if you pop Trank a little bit aggro, or maybe when you didn't need to, it's not the biggest loss in the world. So heading into this fight, I don't think there's too much momentum, or there's too many good thoughts going through the head of Prune Predators here. Especially with this orbital Ray to contend with. Although
yeah,
May shift is forced.
Really, this session comes online. We see the perk coming out.
What a boop!
A beautiful boop into the Orisa Terra Surge, and Magoo gets one, Tyler with the next, and 3 for 2 trade. But it's going to be the point flip, finally going for the Predators. 93% for Athena, not bad. We'll be coming back at this with a 3 ultimate bank.
You get a clean fight win like that for the cost of arguably your worst ult. That's a really great card for Prune Predators. Now the momentum shift has definitely occurred now.
They will be trying to slowly approach this with the Zenyatta. Makes it really hard without the speed. Does actually get punished by the Orisa Spear as he's trying to cross that open gap. And
wow,
it's actually going to be.
Nail comes out too, but they're not going to be able to get a touch.
Like it's Athena flipping this.
Athena's DPS were both less than 25 HP, and they managed to live. Really good use of cooldowns are amazing care from XPS Rubric to be able to make sure that both DPS stayed up there. That fight could have easily been turned. And it's going to be Gooser with the Orisa ult closing out this round. Wow. So decisive response here from Athena. They are not going to take a line down, and they're going to keep fighting here.
Yeah, and I think it's important to remember. Mentioned this earlier. Volcano, probably the closest map on Samoa, right? So if that Reinhardt Bastion comp was going to work anywhere, it was definitely going to be it. And you could really see they were struggling in their response. They were getting pressured hard by that Bastion and the Ryan, especially without the speed. But now, it feels like they have a little bit more space to breathe. Their DPS are able to get things done. They're able to go on the off angles. It looks like their comp's a lot more stable now.
And it seems like they also have Hit Scan Superstar from the Guangzhou Spark on Zenyatta. That could be playing a factor into how Athena was able to turn.
That's true. I have heard that once again was having a pretty rough off season. Maybe that's how things shook out.
Yeah, and now Magoo onto the Doomfist. Did he forget to swap in the spawn room after he touched last round? Tyler gets XPS, and Shy goes down. Wow. Very early and quick fight win here for the Prune Predators.
Yeah, big compositional switch by them. Actually will be keeping onto the Bastion, surprisingly enough. So Doomfist Bastion into the
Doomfist
Orisa.
Bastion. I think they're looking to take advantage of the Zenyatta. That Zenyatta is super vulnerable, especially now with Element on the Tracer and Magoo on the Doomfist. You know, that 3-2-1 is going to be potent. And immediately Shy is onto the Brig. I was wondering
Yeah,
if Shy was maybe like a
a
one
lot
trick or
more
something.
now.
Yeah, I think that one swap is going to be huge for Athena.
Yeah, and you can already
Recall
see the
first
huge
early.
pressure on the right side. Forces out the recall right. We'll be approaching out mid with that Orisa ult. Pressure. Element trying to get on this Juno. Comboing
Magoo!
in with the Doomfist. Gets the pick. And now they just need to stabilize a little bit and then win this 4v5. And they just have all the angles. They have all that high ground control. And now it's just a few remaining stragglers on point. They did manage to flip it in all of this, but it's gonna be a definitive fight loss for them. Still though, 22% on the board.
That's 24. That's 24% that previous Predators don't get to have now. You know, this would have been 2 more fights. Now it's probably 3 more, especially if they can get another flip. Although big ult economy here for Previous Predators. Ults every single ult in the game.
No connection. Uses the wall too.
Wow.
Stick onto the main. No cooldowns, but she does manage to survive, but just can't weather the storm. Doomfist ult comes in after that big dive turn, and now Orisa goes down. It's going to be a very clean fight win by the Predators.
Yeah. As some say, Overwatch is a game of whoever has the better angles, and right now the Doomfist Tracer is doing a great job of controlling one angle and funneling them into the LOS of their Bastion, and just shredding that Brig or the Orisa.
Actually, the Predators will be stepping back a little bit, giving a little bit of this choke control over to Athena. So a lot more well situated on point, which actually goes down. Both backlines killed in the dive. The Bastion's just outputting so much damage on point. Element and Magoo do manage to get the last 2. Very confusing color changes, but
yeah,
it's going to be a clean. It's going to be a clean 3rd point by the Predators. Good adaptations by them.
Yeah, this is just the power of unconventional heroes at this level. You know, Doomfist. You know, people aren't practiced against a Doomfist. They aren't practiced against not feeding punch, and you know the amount of movement and angles and raw damage and CC Doomfist has can be difficult if your team is not disciplined.
What beautiful boop onto that Joe in that play of the game.
That was gorgeous. You know,
Good adaptations by both teams, I would say, though, over the course of this map.
I'd have to agree.
Makes me very interested to see where the draft is going next.
I think it's a little concerning, though, if you're Athena, that your Brig Juno comp can't deal with Doomfist. Your Brig Juno Orisa comp that also included a Cassidy was struggling to contain a Doomfist Tracer. You know, it seems like maybe very early on in this match that PJP has cracked Athena's code here. If they can't figure out a way to adapt, this could be an early sign of defeat.
All eyes on Athena to see where they bring this next map. Opportunity for them. Maybe they can go on to, a different style of map, make it a little bit harder to go for the dive.
Committing to the Brawl map.
Yeah, probably figured that they had a better go of things into that Reinhardt composition. It felt like they had the solution there with that Zenyatta comp. And so just trying to do more of the same may make it a little bit harder for them to go Doomfist Tracer.
Now, if you're PJP, we're expecting an Orisa ban, no? I mean, they clearly didn't want, they favored the Reinhardt. They didn't want to play Orisa into Rein. They didn't want to play Rein into Orisa. And then they lost the Orisa mirror and then found their stride on the Doomfist comp. So I'm expecting an Orisa ban here from PJP. It seems like they feel strongest with a more dive-oriented comp, but maybe something with a Sigma or maybe even a D.Va or a D.Va could work a little bit more in their favor. But that'll all depend on what Magoo has in the hero pool.
Yeah, Magoo. So far, hero pool looks to be a little unconventional, but does everything that the Predators need. It's just going to be Athena probably testing it a little bit more, seeing if they can find any cracks. I mean, that's sort of the issue when you run a lot of these unconventional heroes. Sometimes there's certain compositions that just punch through your entire hero pool, right? It's just a matter of if it exists, if Athena can find it.
Yeah, totally agree. So ban Juno and we want defense. They felt the Juno was holding them back there. I feel like if you're Athena, you've got a great chance here to ban maybe a brawl tank that you really don't like to play against, and you feel confident that you can run over with your Orisa comp. Maybe they ban, maybe even they even ban the Symmetra to really make sure that the Orisa is safe and that they're not going to be messed around with TP strategies too much, because this is a great map for brawl comps, and we all know what Sim can do with brawl comps is just it's a cheat code. And they ban the Ashe, Shy banning one of his
Ash?
best heroes.
Shy, haven't you forgotten?
Ugh. No, maybe it's the fact that Shy only speaks Chinese. Maybe it was a comms issue in this first map.
Mm-hmm. You know, Shy did have a bit of a shaky performance in this year's major during that big Ash meta. So maybe it looks like he wants a little bit of a change of scenery. Not feeling super comfortable in the Ash, will be role swapping onto
Onto
Zenyatta
the Zenya
in Plat,
in a
in
diamond
North
tournament.
American Plat tournaments. And you know what?
Oh, yeah,
I've been there, man. Sometimes I also want to role swap and go down 4 ranks.
Hey man, it happens. So Shy is their Diamond 2 player. So is one of their highest rated players. So maybe they wanted one of their highest ranked, maybe more mechanically able players on a character that has a little bit more carry potential. But into that Doomfist Tracer look, I don't know how much even Shy is going to do.
Yeah, the Zenyatta is certainly a liability there at the best of times. It will be actually rolling out onto this Sigma double poke comp. So we were talking a big game earlier about poke not being a real comp, but unfortunately we are in Plat, and so the not real comp will get played, and it may very well win on the Life Weaver too as well.
Now I like the Ana pick though. Although you are playing against the Sigma, and you know just because he's antied doesn't necessarily mean he's going to die. If you can time your form as Ramatra and get a good nade when maybe they're half HP, and maybe okay, this is a fantasy. They have grip, they have Suzu, and they have a Sigma. This guy, Anti's going to be hard to get value here onto the tank at least. Immediate connection here from Squashy onto Tyler. I'm going to see a Freya mirror. We're seeing a double hit scan mirror with but other than that, very, very different playstyles from the backline and tanks of these two teams.
User will be walking up, taking that high ground. Early Suzu force. 1 HP onto the Freya now. Will be still walking up, taking out this poke though. All their cooldowns pretty much out. Will not be able to push this high ground any further. Next form timing, and they just let him sit there and wait for his form timing to come back.
You know,
Feels
that's
like
the
a
issue.
bit of a wasted opportunity.
You don't have a Lucio. Poke is not a real comp, guys.
I won't let you fall.
I'm a little curious as to the function of the Life Weaver with this double hit scan comp. What does
Yeah,
the
it really
Weaver
feels
really
like
do?
not really a lot of opportunities to go grip anyone. You know, everyone's going to be very much playing back with the Life Weaver. So
Yeah. And Magoo, he's feeding. This guy is feeding.
Magoo goes in so deep and just explodes on point, trying to get touched.
I'll tell you
Not
what.
this lifetime, buddy.
I'll tell you why that's tragic. This staircase, when you don't properly take angles, it can be one of the most oppressive places, especially in lower ranks, for people to cross. It's an oppressive high ground that you kind of have to walk down main at times, or you have to rotate through a side angle. But not having a Lucio makes that even harder, and Tyler is staggered too. This is a disaster for TJP on second point here at Shibali.
I mean, they're threatening a one-fight point cap here with how much they've been staggered waiting for Tyler. Ola comes out, big damage onto one.
And Gooser
Actually goes down.
Oh
Gooser
no!
just doesn't quite play the corner effectively.
That is what we call a bailout, folks. Athena just gifted them. Both the supports of Athena had a way to keep their tank alive there. Yes, he may have been taking too much damage, but it doesn't matter. You have the other team right where you want them. You just got through the hardest part of the map. Now they have to do this long walk up and retake without a Lucio. But they do have a lot of ult to contend with here. That nano onto a Freya, or maybe even for an annihilation, they could just walk over the Sigma.
Feeling blessed, I hope.
Nano boost onto the Bastion!
Bastion nano very early. It's really killable. Doesn't seem like they're getting anything out of this. Maybe an accident? Maybe they intended to nail their Ramatra, but now really big ultimate is going to be a lot of value. And now the Tidal Blast on the Ramatra as he's flushed.
Come through.
Doesn't get anything. 1-for-1 trades though. Pops the Ramatra ult. Heavy spend on this fight. Faces the Kitsune Rush and the Tree of Life. And it's just going to be so much sustain and so much pressure on Cart. Will Ramatra be able to live through this? Eventually the form expires and they're just not able to weather that. Eventually the tree healing, the damage is negligible from the Ramatra ult in the face of that, and the huge Kitsune boosted pressure.
Healing. How are you going to kill someone with your arms crossed as Ramatra? You got a Kiriko and a Lifeweaver healing people inside of a Kitsune Rush. You're just not going to kill anything there.
Disrupting.
Okay.
Now, only ultimate on the board will be in the hands of Tyler now. All eyes on him.
Yeah. Although Shy, very quick build on this in the second nano. Sometimes feeding has its purposes, guys. And Teddy Graham goes down from a beautiful rock from Magoo. Squash down an off angle, and Magoo
no ultimate these. Magoo gets 2. Make it a 3rd. Oh my god. He's making it all happen himself.
Magoo lands a pool. And now he's going to get greedy and trade himself out here. If Gooser gets any help, smart play by the Lifeweaver to know that his Sigma got a little ambitious there.
Yeah, the grip goes for the cliff, but the life grip is there to build. Teddy Graham goes down on the approach, so that's going to be more time off the clock now. As really, this is the point. This is the part of the map that we were talking about earlier. Trying to walk up on this point versus this Sigma double hit scan comp. It's just a nightmare, isn't it?
Especially now that we have. We don't have a flex support. We don't have a phenomenal source of healing on the side of Athena. And, maybe a little early to swap to the Lucio. You want to hold on to Wu Yang, of course, but how are we going to heal the tank, guys?
Very aggressive turn. Ramatra gets sped in.
Big
flux used, but he actually doesn't hit it. And now, they've been forced to forfeit a lot of space for the Ramatra now. Tree of Life does go down on point once again. It's going to be big sustain throughout the fight. Bastion layered on top. Hell platform does manage to get 2 out. Squash goes down on the left side. Bastion 1 HP goes down. Now, Wu Yang split will be turning their attention onto this Ramatra and just takes so much damage. Will be split from the Wu Yang too, and like the Lucio Wu Yang heals not enough to keep them up during that fight.
No, this is rough looks here. You had all the momentum after first point. And now you're struggling, and we don't have a good comp, guys. We don't have a good comp. We're on Ram double flex, Ram double hit scan with a Lucio and and a Wu Yang. Typically, that backline is reserved for ultra-mobile comps that, you know, you have multiple heroes that can rely on health packs. But that is just not the case here. And Teddy Graham gets up early because of Tyler.
Actually, they managed to push straight through the Kitsune Rush.
Wow, what a play by Gooser. Told his team to maybe called for the amp, maybe it was Shy that made the decision, but either way, they run through PJP.
Yeah, heads up play gets them that second point, the final hour at an ultimate disadvantage. Really surprising. And it's really, you know, bit of a poor judgment from Prune Juice Predators for giving up all that space in the Kitsune Rush. Really rough.
Yeah,
And now
Sigma just takes so much damage. Tyler, 1 HP.
1 HP does manage to get healed out of that double bolt.
You know, but now, you know, maybe the investment in the double main support comp is going to pay dividends here as a bunch of ults come out. Both B
Flux
and
finally
Wings.
makes the connection. It does just hit into the
Graham,
Graham gets one out. Now,
and they still have this
huge pressure
Annihilation
on
to
the
contend
blue.
with. Squashy, a little bit of a feed, but it's okay.
Yeah, Annihilation popped, and it looks like maybe
A full
Athena
cap here.
managing the full cap in spite of everything.
Wow. You know, after a questionable, what in my opinion was a questionable choice on the back line, you know, they make the most out of their Lucio speed. I'll give them that. They made, I don't know about the Wu Yang pick, but they definitely made the most out of that Lucio pick. They just ran through the enemy team and capitalized on the mistake, as you said, Fearless, of giving all that space.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see, will they stick the Lucio, and if so, will they keep going with the Wu Yang? As a GK Esports fan last season who had to suffer through a whole stage of Wu Yang Lucio, I can tell you, I do not get excited when I look at that comp. That
It's
comp
just
does give me pause, though they did manage to get that full cap on the third point. So
no,
maybe it works
I'm watching
for
our
them.
replay back
That's
here though, and
really
Gooser,
dangerous.
it seems trivial, but I'm watching the replay back here, and Gooser on that second point in overtime to cap when he needed to the most, he hit every single punch. And you know, it seems silly. It's like, okay, it's a 10 meters, but you know, in a pressure situation, you can never underestimate how hard it can be to hit shots, even things like ram punches. And you know, if he misses that punch on the life weaver there at the end, maybe they get on the pedal and the fight's able to be turned.
Yeah, and even then, it's like, if it's an easy shot, you have to hit 20 of them in a row. If you miss one of them, you lose. That's not an easy ask, you know. Requires some presence of mind. Element
on
the road.
The bloodshed begins.
No hit.
And they're gonna stay with the Lucio.
They're actually on the Doom Tracer once again.
Now this is a backline. Magoo, early pick on a squishy, and Tyler, zero care for what shooting a Doom block does. And we're about to see it, and he pays for it immediately.
I mean, just immediate huge value out of this Doomfist pick, as it's just punch after punch into the back line.
You know, I made a comment earlier about, you know, at this level, Doomfist is an unconventional pick. People, you know, people don't scrim against Doomfist often. People don't practice against Doom often. And if you don't have the discipline to not shoot block, you will be punished for it. And that's exactly what we saw. Zero discipline from the Athena DPS, and they immediately paid for it. We have punch again.
We'll be
Guys.
wrapping around onto the Doom. Bolt onto the Tracer. Recall forced out. Fight back on point now. Just a little bit of a slow fight for both teams. Element will be playing from that side room. Blinks into the Lucio. No connection. Will be forced to back off. No real foothold from either team as it's a deep Doom punch. And it does manage to get Tigram, but they go 2 for 2 for it. Element actually manages to get one. One player advantage for the Prune Juice Predators. And now Squashy gets the directs onto the Wu Yang, but doesn't actually get the kill. And some good peel earns them that first point.
I think Athena misunderstands their comp a little bit. They're trying to play Ram and just hold the point, but with this backline, once your Wu Yang runs out of buttons to press and runs out of their healing resource, it's really difficult. You have healing that is no better than having like a Zen Lucio backline. You need to win these fights quick. You need to be running at them. The lack of a flex DPS and the lack of awareness of how to use the speed here on this defense is really going to be punishing for them if they take these long drawn out fights. And again, punch is given. Element.
Reno does connect onto the Bastion. Pulse Bomb goes wide. 1-for-1 trade. Both teams stabilizing. And now, Prune Juice Predators is without their Doomfist. Probably not going to be able to push much past this choke.
And they go quick, finally!
Back for the
and they run over
the members of Athena. Good speed boost, just throws the ram straight into the Sojourn.
You know, it's kind of weird. Versus Predator seemed to like be AFK almost. It seemed like Tylo wasn't even moving. Like, but that is their win condition. They need to take these quick fights. They need to go fast, and they need to run down the enemy backline.
Opportunity now. Big ultimate bank for Athena. As Lucio B
comes out.
Doesn't make much connection. Magoo with the empowered punch in the backline. Doesn't actually make the connection. Hey, this is the slam too. And he gets punished for that. Disaster by the Doomfist. Now,
first shot goes wide from Teddy Graham.
It's just going to be a little bit of cleanup with the Bastion ult. The Wu Yang goes
I don't think
down.
the Bastion ult did anything.
Yeah, no real connection from the Bastion ult. Not the best ult in the game. Yeah,
It's hard to use. It's
not
not
the
the worst.
worst. But
Now we have
now
Ram
Magoo's
ult
actually
and
onto the
Wu Yang ult.
Dunker Queen. Very interesting choice.
How I feel about
Wait,
Queen into Ram. Excuse me.
Yeah.
What?
No, yeah, I think you're right. I feel like the oh my god, very aggressive.
Neon Wu Yang?
But it's very difficult to try and get this speed. I might like to do this now. Soon Rush comes in. Fully
Telegram
tied
lives.
out.
That's going to be huge. You know, we can see Gooser has this Annihilation ready to go. That'll be huge for stalling out this point here. Queen, actually, I take it back pretty decent into Ramatra. Oh, and Teddy Graham gets knifed and dies, but Swashy's immediately able to trade it out with a kill on the Element. Lots of guys call without the
Trade
recall.
opportunity for the Annihilation. Does pop. Jumps onto the Sojourn. Actually goes back onto the back line. There's the Tile Blast. 2 knocks, but he's managed to get back up.
Able to hold on to the point.
Outvalue this Annihilation. Actually even shines in the mid-front. Now the Ramatra is forced to back off, taking a lot of damage to the choke. Woman going onto the side angle, pressuring the back line. Does go
Now
down.
there's a Freya behind them.
Oh, there's complete split.
Felix, any comments about the general way? This is a very strange matchup we're watching. A Reaper has come out from Pedigram in favor instead of the Bastion. Maybe a little bit better frontline pressure. They're going to force some support resources a little bit earlier just to keep your Queen alive.
Yeah,
Save the beat! Oh, and Ajax!
Oh,
Ajax!
Oh, shy. Ajax is the beat. They lose the fight, and now
The right
Second
decision. He hit the amp. He knew he needed that beat, but he must have just done it in an unsafe area. That is terrible. But now he's onto the Ana. I think, you know, of course you want the beat to go off there and save the map, but I think swapping here is the correct decision. There's no way. Anti's going to play a huge factor here, especially with the Life Weaver gone on the side of PJP. But they should be able to build a Nano here. And then you're going to have a Nano Bastion or a Nano Ram. And speaking of Bastion, Teddy Graham back on the Bastion instead of the Reaper. And the Soldier
double roll onto the Sojourn. Drax is the clock.
and the Kiri's dead.
Your lifesaver.
Just so much damage. The raw damage of a Freya. Just raining down on your team.
So much. And now they just can't survive the bullets. They can't stick on point. It's the fight
No,
lost,
it was
and now Athena's
a
gonna be able
secret
to
that I was
push up on
hoping.
point.
something I was hoping to keep a secret is that Freya is still broken, people. That character just, you get such a good angle when you E up into the sky. You can see over covered as we saw Squashy hit 2 really impressive shots onto Tyla, who popped OC.
Big knife onto Ramatra, does pull him onto low ground. There's his form, there's the Bastion form as well. Queen, shout used, gets the short range queen out, holds off, finds 3. Where's the tidal blast? Suzu's good for it. Now, we'll be throwing the knife over towards the Wu Yang, no connection. Element on the back line. Wu Yang 1 HP, doesn't get the melee, does go down, and now it's just the Ramatra on point.
A little bit of a micro mistake there from Gooser. Oh, Teddygram back on the Vendetta, but instantly shredded. You'll never see that again.
Yeah, now fight it on point.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit of a micro mistake there from Gooser, trying to go aggro with his form and annihilation. I feel like the move there after you lose 2 supports, or both your DPS early in the fight, I think the move there is just hold your block. Try to hope your supports can keep you and each other up. Hold those arms together and use your 2 armor rotations with ult just to buy some time. And I think going aggro there was the wrong move. We'll see if there's an adjustment made. I think they'll be wise to stay away from the Wu Yang Lucio, and they're back on the Wu Yang Lucio. What is it about this comp they like? Especially on defense here. Oh, they're on the Life Weaver now. Now this,
and these guys must have been infected by the Geek Esports Mind virus at some point. There's no other explanation.
These guys are Admiral enjoyers, I can tell. But I as much as people have things to say about Life Weaver, this is where you want to play Life Weaver. Never mind, we're back on Lucio. Guys, you're killing me here.
Wu Yang.
On defense, you kind of just want to hold point here and keep your Ram alive and let him make a play. Rotate as a team. Just keeping your Ram alive so that they can buy time for your DPS to pump damage into their Queen or maybe their backline. I think this is a mistake, but I've been proven wrong before. So let's see if Athena can make advantage of their comp.
Telegram actually moved over onto the Soldier 76 now. He wants something a little bit more mobile, a little bit less punishable by the Bastion.
More sustain.
So they try and tick down this clock.
Squashing on a weird angle here, playing the low ground. Low on cooldowns too.
Looks like they're just going to be holding from the top point. Failure Man goes down from the Prune Juice Predators.
Good enough for now.
Wow, early pick, huge. They need to heal up this Ramatra though.
They need to get those quick fight wins. They need to convert on those picks in the way that they do, because we saw just how close it was. If they took a little bit longer to get those follow-up kills, could have been disaster. No tank, no point pressure.
Low. And Tyla slides up immediately.
Actually manages to get the flank angle on the high ground now. Does manage to dislodge him off the high ground now. So it's sort of just going to be Gooser on point. Actually, Shy manages to get a second kill. I don't think there's going to be room for much more now.
Knife miss, that's tough. Now there's going to be a lot more damage pressure here. They can take an early fight. Now Tyla's on Soldier. What is going on?
We are playing all the random heroes that you forgot about.
Let's get some EVs going.
I have no words. We are still on Lucio Wu Yang. Lucio's frontlining.
First wave ultimates coming up. Tagram actually goes down in the pre-fight now. Wu Yang ult does come out. Kitsune rush, thrown out by Cowbird, onto point. Looks like they're just not able to fight this rush. He's not going to be able to last long.
Wow!
Kill each other in the background. Actually, the Ramatra ult does manage to force out the Queen. Lucio comes back with B. They're really trying to fight for this first corner, and actually, it's a lot of pressure, but
That's really bad. You overinvest your ults. I think maybe if Squashy's able to live just a little bit longer and get that beat there, you know, maybe that fight's winnable. But, guys, I think we've, again, lost the plot here with our comp. We're getting a little too creative. And then we invest, you know, our two best ults for fighting on point and you know, ending these overtime fights. Our surefire fight win, a beat, you know, used in an inopportune time, and now we're fighting an uphill battle against, you know, Visor against Bola. I stand corrected.
Good fight. Make use of that.
I forgot about the weird ult. You know, very doable still though for Athena, but I think maybe on attack their preferred comp here with the Lucio Wu Yang could be better if they understand that they need to take these fights quickly. Once their Wu Yang uses E and runs out of their resource, you know, once amp is used, because you really do need to just use amp for either a very early speed, but on your second amp in every fight is probably going to have to be used to heal. You're going to want to use those cooldowns effectively together. But I wonder if there's going to be that communication, and, you know, that's actually going to be what happens.
Yeah, big question mark as we're coming into the final round of overtime.
I mean, we've watched a little bit too much Lip and Tree. It happens. And now we're on Moira. Like, guys, they're trying to give me an aneurysm, Fearless. Like, this is impossible.
Well, at the very least, you can count on one less Soldier 76 in the lobby as Tyler goes back to the Bastion. I'd say that's a reasonable choice. You know, the Soldier 76 didn't quite look as hot. He has been doing pretty good on the Bastion this entire series.
Ram Mirror, though, I will say one thing for Moira. If you can time that, if you the slide perk. If they can time that healing orb and amp speed, they could just run them over. It looks like that's what they're going to try to do. But Tyler, the Bastion's presence.
Tyler with the Bastion gets 2. And, I mean...
They knew they had to go fast, but they forgot about Bastion.
Yeah, we're seeing... Do you see... The thing is, the Bastion is really good into that all-in style, because if they try and all-in, that means they can't bait out the form, right? As long as Bastion holds form until that point and trades it out, gives them a big advantage in trying to put out all that pressure, stop that rush.
They need to bait the form, you are right. And the form are out early, Tyler forming nothing! Golden opportunity here for Athena. They need to go right now.
Yeah, and they're all backing. They're not going to be able to play on this high ground. Good speed just takes them all down. Yeah, really rough. I don't know what exactly Tyler saw that made him want to form, but really Athena pays for it. Or Juice, rather.
Looking at the ult economy, though, really, only Tyler has an ult here. Maybe Squashy, if he's got like one more final blow left or something. But really a dry... Oh my gosh, Element down early! Tyler tries to trade! Tyler, no connection here. It's going to be a 4v5.
Now,
Tyler,
the
they're throwing themselves on the point. Oh, a little bit of overzealousness from Squashy. We really didn't need that Bola. I think we could have used it maybe to punish a Wu Yang or a Kiriko that had used their cooldown in our next fight here, but, you know, that's a huge fight win for Athena. Getting that early pick on the Element. Especially now we have Cole coming up. Cole and Ramel. I want to see an aggro mortar ult.
Well, we were all used, but they're kind of split from the entire team. That card just cuts them off completely, and Magoo just steps up with the Wu Yang Blast in the Ramatra form.
A little disappointing from Athena. They did everything they needed to until our Moira walked on a point without cooldowns and then turned around, let their team slowly die. while we're coalescing. It seemed like they figured out they needed to go quick. They figured out that they needed to bait out Bastion form. They did it, and then it just took one mistake there in overtime of not getting value from our coalescence. That AoE healing, hitting multiple people at once, healing multiple people at once, doing damage to multiple people on the enemy team all at once, lined up in that small hallway. We can't get value because we're turned around trying to heal our Freya. That is a poor awareness, and that will cost Athena a very winnable map, especially
Yeah.
since it seemed, they were close to beat. The ult economy seemed to be going in their favor. They had Reaper ult coming up. Uh, I think that's a very unfortunate map loss for Athena, but they're so close.
Yeah, really, each of these maps looking surprisingly winnable for Athena. Sort of a bit of an underdog going into this, but certainly they're making the Prune Juice Predators work for it.
It's,
And
it,
now they get one final map pick.
yeah,
See if they can force them maybe onto another Brawlmere. It looks very close. You know, the Doomfist seems to be a little bit of their kryptonite. They actually do still have the Doom Band in the back, so a lot of tools for Athena to work with to get this next map win. But just small individual mistakes like that Moira Coalescence is turning around for a split second ends up costing them.
and those are the things that a lot of the time go unseen. Um, but that was their win condition. They needed to sustain with their Moira ult, knowing that both Rams were gonna have Ramatra ult. They had the better comp to do damage. Once that Bastion form is gone, they would have been able to just run them over and just like through raw damage alone should have been able to, outdo Prune Juice Predators. But the coalescence just wasn't there. It wasn't there to keep the team up. Yeah. All right. Now, what map will we go to? You know, I think it'll be smart for Athena to pick map here and ignore the ban. PJP is more than proven that they can play a multitude of comps, and there we go, Runasapi. So I wonder what comp they'll pull out on the Runasapi. Sig comp's pretty decent. You know, Brawl comp's pretty decent on Runasapi. It's a decent map. You can play a lot of different things. We've seen a lot of different things work on Runasapi at a multitude of levels. But it will play to the Doomfist. The Doomfist strengths will be shining here. So Freya ban with the incorrect spelling of Freya. That's interesting. Why is it
Wait,
spelled
who
like
banned
that?
Freya?
Just because PJP.
I see.
Interesting. Kiri ban. So maybe they're calling out the
Doofus ban
backline
not
of
spent
PJP.
yet.
Well, I think if you're Athena, you want to play these goofy backlines. What's the best character? What's the character that every flex support has to play and has been pretty much one tricking for the past 5 months? Pretty safe bet that if you're playing a team that's always on Kiriko, they probably haven't practiced much things other than Kiriko because they're going to assume the other team also wants to play Kiriko. So if you're a team that's got these goofy comps, and I'm immediately seeing more goofiness. I saw a Winston, a Widowmaker, a Venture, and a Brigitte from Athena. Let's see if that's actually what they're on. And we're paused.
Minor technical difficulties.
I don't want to see another 3-0. That's
I
no
think
fun.
Athena has it in them. I think they definitely have the ability to take maps of a Prune Juice Predators, right?
It seems like they're a smarter team than their SR would suggest, because they knew to do things like play around the Bastion form and that they needed to win fights fast. It became apparent that they were trying to take quick fights, so quick that they forgot about the Bastion form, but then they immediately learned from their mistakes. If they can be disciplined and not do things like ignore the entire team with Coalescence or shooting Doom Block, I think this not only this map, but this match is within reach of Athena. They are so close.
We are not just seeing growth over the course of a tournament. We are seeing growth from not even map to map. We are seeing growth between team fights, right? That's team,
something that, yeah.
Check back tomorrow, and I swear these guys are going to be in OWCS. Like the amount that these guys are learning from individual fights is crazy, right? These guys are making really rapid improvements. This is a really cerebral team, I feel like.
Now, Fearless, in the unfortunate and potentially sad event that this is a 3-0, who do you have as Athena's MVP so far? Who's been showing up for actually both teams? Who's been showing up while we wait for these teams to walk to the point here?
For Prune Juice, I feel like definitely my eyes on Magoo. He's been rock solid on the Ramatra, and every time he gets an opportunity to go pull out that Doom, I see he's on the ball right now. You know, this might be more of the same, but he is absolutely a difference maker. Big Vendetta Slash onto the Tracer now. Forces the recall out early.
And, you know, not to interrupt the team fight, but I have Shy as my MVP on the side of Athena right now. He's been good with his timing. Maybe he's just following the commands of his tank player, but he's been executing very well.
I think Shy has been great especially on the Lucio. He's really, really good with the speed boost. It feels like they're everywhere they need to be. Lots of pressure on this Soldier 76 with the Mercy Pocket, actually.
The Mercy Pocket comes...
As
Wow.
It just got shredded on the Pharah. And now, Telegram does manage to get the trade, but it's not going to be enough.
You know, again, we saw Athena is one of those teams that they like to play the unconventional backline. Oh, and if we're gonna, nope, they can't stagger the break. They can't stagger the D.Va. Dying on point, smart play from Gooser. Unfortunately, they are last to die. But you know, again, we see they want to play the Juno Brig. And the Juno Brig, if they can adjust as they have this entire match from team fight to team fight, will be good into this ball tracer. It's just going to be a matter of how much value can the front line get to punish this very, admittedly, punishable backline. And Magoo, early pick onto Squashy, ignores the Mega.
On from the ball, actually. A lot of pressure onto the potential for a punish. Does go down. And now, the Tracer, the Pulse Bomb gets 2 on the floor. I mean, really promising ball kill on this side fight, but good pulse by Omen and just gets more.
Again, a small mistake that they will be punished for.
Would you look at that?
And it's already checkpoint. 2 fights in, 2 fights lost. You can't. It's so hard to lose back-to-back fights. It's not only on push, but especially on this map. Big nade, backline hit, and no follow-up, unfortunately. Let's see who's gonna get this nano boost. And the Mercy's deleted.
Mercy goes down by Squashy early on in the fight. Nano boost onto the Tracer, but they're just getting Matrix time. Brig Bash onto them. 40 HP, no recall. Will be the Tracer taken out of the fight temporarily. A lot of space now conceded. And the death of
good
the Ana
rally
is
from
be
Shy.
retreat now.
You know, we saw that the defense matrix up, but this is also a really good rally from Shy, making sure the team stays healthy.
Absolutely.
Big shield in the face, hard for that Tracer to really do anything through armor and rally healing.
Now,
An early
D.Va
pressure
will
from
be
the D.Va.
making this turn onto the Soldier 76. Lots of pressure onto this Mercy pocketed Soldier, right? It's a lot about if he can survive. And so far, he manages to survive the first turn, but then the Tracer comes back, gets the second.
You know, we're 3 minutes into this Somber Peck, and we haven't built EMP. Yeah, there it is. They give up on even having the EMP. They swap over to the Vendetta. I think that's the smarter pick. There's just not enough value coming from the Sombra. Let's see what Teddygram can do on the Vendetta. Maybe apply a little bit more pressure to this backline. Maybe apply a little bit more pressure to Tyla. Even through the Mercy pocket, that Vendetta can cut straight through and punish very quickly. Although susceptible to sleeps and anti-nades, I will say, especially without a Kiriko in play. Element on a long flank. Where are we? We are exploring the map. Face full of visor moves.
A little bit lost. Hopefully presumably trying to get the that pulse bomb in the back, but they just missed the entire fight. Eventually they do come in and they get 2. Manages to make the space for the res to come off, and now, I mean, those are some good trades. They're gonna see if they can convert. D.Va mech is forced. There's the bomb. Shine kills Magoo, so it looks like ultimately he gets 2, but the long Tracer rotate just ends up biting them in the ass.
It doesn't seem like Teddygram has a Tracer. Oh, a big kill, early kill into Element. Flashbang, very broken ability. Although, why was my... Oh, Gooser's D-Max. This is the... Oh my god! This is what we've been talking about the whole time. These minor mistakes that Athena makes right as they take control in a fight. And now that looks like they have a foothold in this fight again, but at the cost of their brick rally when they should have had it for free. These are the minor mistakes. Not to mention the Gooser got D-Max, although it looks like he's going to be able to get it back here.
Yeah, Gooser should be back in mech momentarily. We'll be suiting up with the Ray. Big
good job defending the team with
pushes
the
them off. And just to survive that, ball taking a lot of damage. We'll be having to make a full backstep now. Space conceded.
Squashy kills Element again!
In the mid-fight. I mean, now Ball gets the nail boost. They will be committing to this fight. Goes onto the Brig, not really able to find much foothold onto that. And now does actually manage to force out the raid by rolling through them. I feel like that maybe a bit of an unforced error there. don't know if they
I
needed
think
that.
I feel a momentum shift, Fearless. A big mistake nanoing the ball. You have a soldier that had visor up. You have a tracer. I know it's tough with the defense matrix, but what is ball gonna do? The same thing is gonna happen. They're just gonna get a face full of DM. You want to save that nano for a tracer, maybe the soldier who can when they get on a good off angle, and the miss sleep, but no connection from the high noon. But now Athena is pressuring the lead of PJP. What seemed impossible is now becoming probable with a good ult economy here from the side of Athena.
2 meters left. Tyler pops the visor with the mercy boost. We'll just be seeing into a face-full defense matrix though. Now into the brig. The brig bashes in! And now
Two
the
dead to
D.Va
bomb.
bomb kills 2. Gooser puts their team back in the fight. They end up killing the soldier. And the D.Va bomb is stunned.
I think this Kiriko ban is paying dividend. Like, what are you really going to get out of the nano boost here? Because the D.Va, anytime someone gets nano, the D.Va turns around and presses right click. It's just so tough. And now they're going to give the space. They don't want to fight that uphill battle into the high ground until they can get a definitive fight win on a little bit more favorable terms where their D.Va can control the high ground. Now, Teddy. Oh, he hits the pulse bomb. Squashy kills Tyler. Cowbird gets the res off, though. Magoo has made the swap over to Zarya. We forgot to mention that. Vendetta ult out.
Squashy gets another pick onto Element,
Big
and Tay
picks.
gets another Vendetta ult. Now, I mean, it's all going up for Athena.
Magoo does catch the wave respawn. Element off the Tracer onto the Genji. Failure Man on Alari. Guys, the problem here is the D.Va. Anytime someone tries to get range damage off at any capacity, he's getting a face full of DM.
Now,
And now we're on Alari.
Rally comes in, protects the high noon, doesn't manage to find anything.
They still got
That's
bot
not where you
progress,
want to be.
though.
Not our rally value. In comes the orbital ray. They still want to fight this. Tyler goes down. So does Cowbird. 5v3 on point. On the orbital ray. Magoo, Element, go down. It's just failure.
That's going to be map completion.
It's gonna be a full cap.
Wow, what a response from Athena. That is what they needed. They needed a full cap on this point. That Kiriko ban paid dividends. Failure Man forced onto an uncomfortable hero. And the D.Va, also just a great map from the D.Va player of by Gooser. Anytime they tried to get anything done with, a nano visor, a pocketed soldier, just face full of DM, or that brig rally, amazing rallies from Shy. Just making sure his team was nice and safe. They could sit behind a big fat shield while getting infinite healing. Just a really great display of team play from Athena.
Yeah, absolutely. And now, I mean, Athena, they seem to keep getting better. Let's see how much more improvement they can fit in there. See if they can win more maps. See if they can maybe push this lead even further ahead.
Yeah, this is just. Oh. I was thoroughly impressed with the play from particularly Gooser and Shy. I know we saw some, clutch picks here and there from the Athena DPS, but Gooser and Shy making sure the team had the resources they needed to make those plays. A great, as we see D.Va becoming more of a damage dealing character, the smart D.Va players that know how to utilize their defense matrix to enable their team, they're becoming less and less common. And Gooser showing that it's a dying breed, but he's still here. He's still here.
Yeah, and really, honestly, it feels like everyone on Athena is firing on all cylinders. Now it feels like we're not counting mistakes anymore. We're looking at huge plays being made, huge individual plays by every single player. Feels like everyone is pulling their weight and more. Everyone's being a difference maker.
And we talked last match about the mental fortitude of Imperium. Well, you can talk about the mental fortitude of Athena here. You're down 0-2, and then you lose 2 team fights in a row on push to make that comeback into into a comp that you'd been struggling into, and you just made a play. They didn't even make too many hero swaps. They just made play style adjustments, and it worked out beautifully for them. I really hope to keep seeing good team play like this from Athena.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the biggest thing. You can tell this is such like a well-coached team because it's not just about the H key, right? They're not afraid to press it. They make the right decisions, but it goes deeper than that, you know? Everything they do, they think about. They 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 change their fight plans based off the enemy's comps. They know what they need to do. They know what they need to avoid.
Sym and D.Va bans. So clearly, PJP not liking the Goose or D.Va. They really felt what we were seeing, that anytime they tried to get something done, they just got a face full of DM. Now, I will say PJP did not take full advantage of off angles and setting up their tracer behind, where the D.Va really can't help too much. But the Sym ban does prevent some of that cheese we saw in the first map with the Reinhardt comps. But, same thing. D.Va's gone, so let's see what Gooser has available, because we haven't seen a win. We haven't seen Athena be able to pull out a win on any character except for D.Va.
Ready for battle.
Oh, yeah, and it's a reverse of what we saw in the first map. We have Athena on the Rhine comp. Very, very 2016 comp I'm seeing. Oh, Nick, take that back. Moira was not on launch. Whatever. 2017 Rush comp we've got going on here versus a team that is entirely committed to almost entirely committed to the Overwatch 2 characters bit. So we'll see what wins out here. The new heroes or the old school. Now, I think our win condition here is setting up our Mei to land big walls. Cutting off the Wu Yang's damage output is the Wu Yang and the Sojourn's damage output is gonna be key here. Utilizing your Mei's utility
forces them back. And now, I mean, look, they're able to set up on that point now. The one thing with this Ryan Bunker comp is that it's gonna be so hard for the Prune Predators to dislodge them once they do. Goo actually manages to punish the Mei going in for an aggressive wall. Now,
what is Shy doing?
At point, it looks like that's just going to be a quick reset. With Shy going down.
A little bit of miscommunication. They're trying to live after Shy Giga feeds.
Not great. 26% on the point already.
You gotta wonder what was going through his mind. Was he trying to stop the point cap? Was he trying to reset after an early pick? Also, Squashy did die with Mei Ice Block.
Yeah. XPS rubric though. Little one thing to look forward to. 98% on this Coalescence will be the first ult. Wow. Very good opportunity for a good high tempo play. Yep, goes in. Squashy manages to pick one.
They can Suzu out. Doesn't matter.
It looks like, one trade from Magoo, not going to be quite enough. Point flip, 72% on the board, not terrible, but he's still going to be in one more fight after if they manage to get it.
And a potential stagger here onto the back line. Will they be able to close the distance?
Never mind. Very aggressively, but not a super fast comp that Athena's on. We'll have to just sit back, play point, play off of this Mei wall, and actually this Junker Queen is split. There's a lot of damage as well. Well, Queen is going to be devastating. Shy goes down.
We see a Mei ult on a point. Ryan puts up that big shield.
Ryan puts so low. Squashy goes down low. Doesn't look like they're going to be able to live this. One more fight potentially after this, but
now
it's gonna be
will we
see
see
this rush?
But a good way to get a quick fight win? Bat shatters, and we have a shatter and a beat on board in response to the blade. But it's all about, can they get a clean touch off? Ryan's got a pin in. Gets a big shatter.
Big shatter. Everyone's 1 HP and manages to get the kill on the failure man. Pushes them off that rush now. Manages to get the point flip in the mid fight. And now, Genji on the point. Manages to get 2. Squashy gets the trade. 3v3 on point. Now, Moira's going to be sustaining the
We're
Ryan.
gonna see
There's
nine.
just
They
so
can't
much more
touch.
point presence, and they're not going to be able to fight it.
You
Gets
know,
the
I
kill
saw that
afterwards, but-
the Genji 1 HP dash onto Teddygram, and Teddygram decides to die instead of using the Reaper ult. Either a miscalculation from him, or he really trusted his team just to win the fight. Either way, it worked out for him, and now they
Yeah.
actually have a decent ult economy as Gooser's closing in on another Shatter, along with Squashy with another Mail, and XPS Rubric has a Coalescence. Maybe they can use that to support the Reaper ult to keep them up. As we all know, very easy ult to die in. Although, again, they're not playing the Kiriko. They don't have any Overwatch 2 characters. How are you going to deal with this big rampage?
Oh my god. Huge rampage. Actually pops the Reaper ult in response. Does manage to get one, and they actually didn't get any conversion out of the Queen ult. 2 for 2, 3 for 2 now. Reinhardt, 1 HP, drops super low. Element manages to get the trade, and they managed to have the May and the Reaper on point. They actually managed to hold after that, despite that big Queen ult.
Bad resource tracking from me. They have a fade. They have 2 fades, a Reaper fade and a Moira fade. They have a Mei ice block, and then they have a Reinhardt health pool. So, on second consideration, you know, if you don't get some of those cooldowns out first, maybe opening up with a super aggro Queen ult like that, even though they're all in a hallway, maybe that wasn't the greatest idea. As Overclock is popped by
Another
Tyler,
angle
just
for
holding up the
another
Rhine shield and a shatter. Gooser gets 3.
Yeah, tremendous. Quick fight win for them. Male, Rhino, 63% on the board right now. They are approaching final fight territory, and they still have this Coalescence in tow into just the Wu Yangle.
No, this Reinhardt still shatters like an OG. Beautiful play from him. Reminds me of Hot Dog last season. Gooser gets an early kill on the Tyla. And the
Out comes the Coalescence, keeps the Reaper up. There's the Wu Yangle on point. Just the Genji. Doesn't manage to find anything with it. Forced to touch point using the Wu Yangle, and looks like that's it. 2 points.
you know, as we said, the team play from Athena, amazing. Whereas the Prune Predators seem to be relying a little bit more on their DPS just to, like, you know, pop off, make those big plays. But, you know, the team play of a Rhine comp like this that's playing very fast, as they have to with the Moira. You know, you just follow in that you speed boost in, and you follow the Moira orb, and it seems
It
to be
feels like we're
working
watching a different
really
team
well.
than the start of the series. This
It
is
really does.
fantastic. And now
Now,
you're holding
you're
your
playing in the
up on.
Kitsune Blade, but you do have Big Beat ready. Will they open up with the rush? Good angle take though by Athena to not just deny them, give them a free rush here down mid.
Professional.
Kylo onto the
form
Bastion,
used
by the
early.
way. Big May wall.
Professional has expired now. Opportunity to go in. Pushes it up. Teddy gets 2. And
3,
now he's onto
4,
the Queen. 4 with the Reaper.
5. Make
And
it
they
an
get
ace
the,
for
and
Teddy
they get the
Graham.
point. Oh my god.
And look at the ult economy. This is so bad. This Shatter just denies the entirety of every single support ult that the PJP has is denied by the Shatter. They want to play down mid in what? And the knife off the map. But okay, whatever. There goes that fight. But it is what it is. But Gooser's Shatter, it denies BJP what they want to do with their support ults. Although Failure Man, oh, never mind. He just swapped to Juno. They want to play as a team inside that rush, inside that orbital ray. But Gooser, one fat Shatter ends it all.
That being said, really good knife by Magoo. Really puts them back into the swing of things. So hard to retake against this Ryan Hawkins. Now they're the ones with
Plenty
the
of
point
ults for them
presence.
to do it.
Ryan's going to be having to block up. Gives them an opportunity back into the series. There's the Genji. 3-man Shatter. On top of the Bastion. Now it's time for the Queen. Gets the pin onto the Queen. 1 HP. Does manage to take her down. 1-for-1 trade
Element
onto
gets
Shatter
shot.
now. Element gets 2 actually. Got 3. And now Prune Predators pole position Lots of other P words can be used to describe this.
Every ult eliminated by both teams, and Magoo's on the Reinhardt with no Lucio. Although they do have the Juno speed ring. This is going to be tough. I don't even think they get a touch. I think if you're Athena, you just say, screw it, we're going next point. And that's what they do. Tough fight to lose, though. The map was within their grasp.
I mean, I think it all comes down to that knife off the map. If that doesn't happen, we might be looking at 3-0 map line.
Now, how does Gooser and the Athena adjust here into the Reinmir now? Although both teams have arguably very good Rein comps. They have a Bastion on one team and a Reaper and a Mei on the other. One good wall and it's over for Magoo.
So much pressure by Magoo. Orbital Ray.
Oh, a little bit of taunting.
Just playing very slow, very conservatively, and it feels like Athena didn't really properly kite that out. They took their time. They didn't really rush in. They sat behind the Rein shield, and it felt like Athena weren't 100% sure if they were going to try and disengage that or if they wanted to fight it, and so they were sort of peeking the corner a bit.
You know, very
And they end up
curiously.
going down to that.
Very, very strangely. Prune Predators. They get more Overwatch 1 characters in and start winning the map. Very, very different from what we're used to seeing. Shatter ready for Magoo.
Huge
down.
shatter. Get
Big
two.
Shatter. Misses the
Immediate
Gooser.
conversions. Get the pin.
I think Gooser
Very
was
big fight.
trying to
And
angle.
Magoo gets 4.
I think Gooser was trying to angle around Magoo to get his own Shatter off, but Magoo just pressed Q first.
Yeah, and I mean, I think this is sort of where you see the strengths of the Praetors show up, where Athena is a really cerebral team, but Element picks XPS Rubric, and you just see
And that's
these
the point.
players
That's the
in the
point.
mirror have room for these big mechanical plays to be made.
And we're going to come down to a final point. Athena. Big old bank, but same on the side of PJP. This is going to be, this is what you all want to see. A Reinmir, big ult bank, everyone's ready to go. You know, this is match point. Will we see a map 5 or will Athena fold here? Not ready. But the blade gets no value. He's forced away. Mayo comes out. Suzu forced. TP forced.
Split on the
They
right
make a
side.
good team rotation here.
Yeah, now they've gone up, taken
I
the
love
high
my
ground, but they've
squashes.
given up the split. Now, Ryan Quinn
They
has
need to
been
use this
forced.
reroll.
No period TP. Reaper is 1 HP, dies without using the ult.
Halberd.
Halberd manages to get away and get 2.
This is not
Just
looking good for Athena.
A bit of indecision from Athena. Maybe a little bit of, a little bit faster. Maybe if they press some of those ults, that could have been a very winnable fight. And Squashy's actually coming back on the Tracer instead of the Mei.
They've lose their Shatter and force 0 ults out of PJP. Now they have 4 ults online, and Reaper ult is going to be tough here to use into all their support cooldowns. Albert finding the Moira again. It's all falling apart for Athena. They need to just live here and wait for their Moira to come back. This is so bad. This is not how I wanted to see this series end. And there it is. There's the game, everybody.
Drops the beat, gets only 2. Looks like that's going to be game, set, map. Prune Juice Predators up 3
That's very
to
sad.
1. A
Very
valiant
sad
effort by
way for that to
Athena, but they get the better of them in the Reinmir.
I mean, that's not how you wanted to see that map end. Athena had the momentum. They had in a reverse sweep completed here by PJP on this Flashpoint map. Some amazing plays made by the DPS and Gooser on the side of Athena. It's just not enough. In the end, they lost out to a Kiriko Juno backline, and the Moira just could not stay alive. They needed to BAP. They needed. I know you want to play fast, but you can only play so fast into Juno Kiri. They have so many resources to keep the team alive, and that might have been the nail in the coffin. That Moira pick, I'm just not a fan of it. They just run out of they run out of orb, they run out of their healing resource, and it's just over. And I'm looking at the replay here, a lot of hesitation from Athena on using their ults, and that is another thing that could have cost them the map. Magoo just so much pressure. In that Rhine mirror, building shatters way faster than Gooser once the Rhine mirror was in full effect. Uh, but I think that if you're Athena, you have to be happy that you were able to get your map back, make these maps close, getting better fight to fight. Eh, There's a lot to hang your there's a lot to hang your hat on here, but it is a sad loss for Athena. We everyone wanted to see a map 5 here.
Mhm.
MVPs?
I mean, for Prune Juice Predators, I feel like it's Magoo, right? Early on,
Yep.
he was the
Yep,
swing
yep, yep.
factor in almost all the maps they won. Early on, it was the Doomfist and the you know, later on, eventually takes the Rhine gets the better of Athena off of that.
I'll have to agree. Magoo stepped up when they needed to. And in response, I think our more interesting discussion is who's your Athena MVP? A lot of good people to select from here, but I'm
It's a
interested to hear.
lot of choices, but for Athena, honestly, I think
And the crowd holds
hon-
their breath for Fearless's answer.
honestly, I would still say Shy. I feel like
Mm.
it's not a mistake that they look so good in all of those really complex interactions. Anytime they were in a mirror, and it was a very simple, both teams are trying to accomplish the same thing. See who does it better. It feels like the Lucio loses a lot of their decision-making value with where they use the speed and where they take the fights. But whenever there was these more complex situations, Athena really thrived. And I think that's sort of an indication of the level of awareness of the Lucio and the level of the decision making, where they knew when to push, when to pull, when to, what their win conditions were. And especially when we see Shy go over onto the Brig, especially versus the Tracer, we see good rally value. We see, we don't see any big mistakes. Um, I just think there's nothing to dislike there.
Yeah, I was tempted to say Gooser, but he got Ryan gapped. He got Ryan gapped, and maybe you can pin some of that on his Moira for getting first picked and not being able to play Baptiste or Kiriko, because I think that would have been the better picks there. But I think Shy is the MVP of Athena. Just immense value from speed, rally. It seemed like people were being kept up through impossible odds. So good pack timing on the Brigitte, good peel as Lucio helping out on those side angles with the Reaper. Uh, just a very good performance from Shy overall. So I'm comfortable giving Athena's MVP to Shy, and I agree. PJP Magoo performed very very well today, adjusted as they needed to, and then not afraid to show their flexibility, showed the Doomfist, showed the Orisa, showed the Reinhardt, showed a vast array, and even the Zarya, although that didn't go too well. They showed their ability to adapt and play a bunch of different tanks and make it work.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Hi,
hello.
Lyle.
Hola.
Welcome. How
How's
are you
it
feeling
going?
after that win?
Um, it was a lot more shaky than I thought it was gonna be. It got very stressful at the end.
Were you impressed by the team play of Athena? A lower SR team, um, in comparison to y'all, it's it was impressive the fights they were able to take away via good defense matrix use, good rallies,
Yeah,
good
no,
like overall teamwork.
it was like especially on Runa. Runa was really they knew what to they knew how to counter our weaknesses. That our team was kind of lost. I will admit we were very lost on Runa, and I don't know what happened between Shambali and Runa, but yeah, no, they definitely capitalized a lot on our weaknesses on that map, and it was definitely showing on Saravasa as well. But we locked it in, brought it back.
Before Fearless interrogates you, I got one more question. The not interrogates, that was mean of me. I'm sorry. But the unconventional backlines, especially on Shambali. How did you
Oh,
adapt to the Lucio Wu Yang where they were just trying to play super super quick, and then the Life Weaver got pulled out? How did you guys change your plan for that?
um, honestly, we just kind of wing it. Like we don't really do any kind of planning, especially for comps. All of our comps are like on the fly. Like we don't practice like Rhine comps really ever. Ram we don't really do any like the most we play is maybe a JQ, but that's because we like running fast comps. That's probably our
Mm.
strong suit is just running really fast and taking us to like Shambali or just any escort or hybrid map in general. It just slows us down a lot.
Yeah, we were impressed. As are you aware of Magoo's MVP today?
Am not, but I figured it was gonna happen.
Yeah,
That is my goat right there. I love that
the
man.
the adaptability of your tank player was to be admired today. Taking the Rheinmere on a whim, it seemed like, and coming out on top was very impressive, along with the flexibility of that Junker Queen of the Doomfist, too. Although I will
Mhm.
say there was a lot of punch feeding that happened to your Doomfist, so maybe.
Oh, yeah, we know. Yeah,
So
there
maybe that played a factor, but anything to anything to say in particular about your tank player?
um say I've known him for a long time and I just know he goes in with the mentality of that he's just the best and then he goes and proves it every single time. And I think he's going to continue doing that throughout the season.
It's a
All right,
fair
well, I'll
mentality
hand
to
you over
have.
to Fearless.
So, Tyler, I noticed that you played a lot of unconventional heroes, especially early on in the series. We saw a lot of Bastion out of you, a little bit of Soldier 76, especially on Runasapi and parts of
Uh-huh.
Shambali. Wh- How does is that is that your call based off of your own hero pool, or where are those
Ye-
comp decisions getting made?
So Bastion, we usually play Bastion with the Rhine because having a shield behind, like having a Bastion behind a shield is kind of just nice. And then Soldier, I play Soldier because I hate Sojourn with a passion, and so I just decided Soldier's next best thing. And then Cass, I'm terrible at. Like I
Hmm.
am the definition of a hit scan player. I cannot play flex to save my life. So
Hmm.
I just kind of stay with the characters that aren't hard.
Yeah, that makes sense. Um, Last week you ended up having you ended up having a rough loss versus what was it, the Pew Pew
Pew pew.
Plunderers.
Yes.
Yeah, 3-1, rough loss. Today you come back. It looks a little scrappy in the end, but you managed to win it out. Where do you think you stand in the overall power rankings of the tournament from what you've seen so
For
far?
my team as a whole,
And before
Hmm.
you answer that, do you want to know where you currently are in the Beat Drop Banter power rankings?
um, I mean, I'm pretty sure I already know where I am. I don't know. I think our team is top half at least.
You're
I
number
think we're
Very,
sitting.
very conservative answer.
now.
You're number 4 behind Pew Pew Plunders, Dogs, and Odyssey Scylla.
Yeah, I know Odyssey Scylla are up there. That team is you guys are insane. I'm not gonna lie. Um,
W
Pew
Glaze,
Pew Plunderers,
keep going.
we'll see them in playoffs and we'll take our revenge. I'm not worried about them. Keegs
And
is
then-
he's trying to push an agenda on my Kiriko player, on my flex support player, and I'm not gonna let that happen.
Well, that's good to hear. All right. Well, very impressive match from you. Please say congrats to Magoo for from us.
I will.
And keep it up.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Goodbye.
It's nice having you. Well, that's the last match of tonight.
Thank you
I
all for
mean-
coming. W chat.
What a way to end things off too, right?
Yeah.
It was
You
a
know,
3-1,
maybe-
but it felt like a 5-mapper.